helped me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The first thing that hit me wasn't the sound. It was the name, Marissa's Risotto. The waiter said, his tone smooth, unaware of a knife twisting inside my chest. I looked up from the menu, the words swimming before my eyes. The letters seemed harmless, elegant even, printed in delicate cursive across the page. But all I could hear was my husband's voice, Marissa. Soft, familiar, intimate. I froze. Hey, look, he said, smiling across the table. They've named a dish after one of the regulars. Isn't that sweet? His voice cracked slightly, though he tried to disguise it behind a sip of wine. I'd been married to Daniel for 19 years. I knew his nervous tells, the twitch of his left eyebrow, the way he avoided eye contact when he lied. Marissa, I repeated, pretending to skim the menu. You know her? He paused for just a moment too long. She's, one of the managers, I think. The waiter, bless his oblivious heart, chimed in. Actually, it's named after one of our frequent diners. She and the chef were close. He grinned. It's a bit of an inside joke. I smiled politely, even as my pulse roared in my ears. How interesting, I said. My voice didn't shake, but inside, I was already unraveling. Daniel reached for my hand, thumb brushing over my knuckles. You okay? I nodded, forcing my lips to curve upward. Just hungry. But the rest of dinner tasted like ash. We'd been coming to Fresco for years. It was his favorite place. His comfort spot, he used to call it. Whenever work stressed him out, he'd stop by after meetings, sometimes with me, sometimes without. It was a place where we celebrated our anniversary last year. The same table, the same candlelight, the same man who once whispered, I can't imagine my life without you. Now, all I could imagine was her, Marissa. That night, while he showered, I opened his phone. I hadn't done that in years. Not since our first child was born. I'd always trusted him, always believed that love meant not needing to check. The texts were easy to find. A pinned conversation labeled with a single heart emoji. Marissa read heart hash. My hands trembled as I opened it. Her messages were teasing, playful, full of inside jokes. She called him chef. He called her muse. There were photos, none explicit, but intimate in the ways that hurt more. Her laughing in a restaurant kitchen, a plate of risotto in her hands. His caption read, The Real Marissa's Risotto. I didn't cry. Not at first. Instead, I felt something cold and clinical take over. Like my heart was trying to protect itself by shutting down. When he came out of the shower, towel around his waist, I looked at him and saw a stranger wearing my husband's skin. Did you enjoy dinner? He asked, rubbing his hair dry. Yes, I said quietly, especially the risotto. He froze, towel dropping slightly. The silence stretched. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. Don't lie to me, I whispered. He swallowed hard. It's not what you think. I laughed, sharp and hollow. Then please, tell me what it is. We sat at the edge of our bed for an hour, him explaining, me dissecting every word like evidence in a trial. He said she started as a friend, someone who understood his work stress, someone he could talk to. He said they'd only kiss once, that it didn't mean anything, that he loved me but felt unseen. That word hit me hardest, unseen, as if my years of sacrifice, of raising our children, managing our home, forgiving his absences, had made me invisible. I asked him if he loved her. He said no, but his hesitation told me otherwise. For weeks, I tried to rationalize, tried to believe that maybe this was a lapse, that love could survive betrayal if you stitched it together tightly enough. But every time he smiled, every time he touched me, I saw her name printed on that menu, a dish immortalized in cream and rice. A private joke made public. I visited Fresco's alone one afternoon. I told the hostess I wanted to meet the chef. She led me to the kitchen, bright, bustling, filled with a scent of garlic and butter. And there she was, Marissa, younger than me, confident, her hair tied back in a messy bun, laughter spilling effortlessly from her mouth. Our eyes met, For a split second, she seemed to recognize me. "You're Daniel's wife," she said. Her tone wasn't mocking. It was pitying. I didn't slap her. I didn't scream. I just looked at her and said, "I hope the dish was worth it." Her smile faltered. Then I walked out. 2 months later, Fresco's closed for renovations. The new menu launched without Marissa's risotto. Daniel and I began therapy, though I didn't know why. He wanted redemption. I wanted peace. Sometimes, when he looks at me across the dinner table, I see guilt swimming in his eyes. Other times, I see fear, the kind that comes from realizing he destroyed something irreplaceable. Forgiveness, I've learned, isn't a decision. It's an exhaustion, a quiet acceptance that some wounds will never close cleanly. Last week, he asked if I wanted to go back to Fresco's. I said no. He nodded, and for once, didn't argue, because we both knew that every table, every candle, every plate that would whisper the same name I'll never forget, Marissa. And that's how 19 years of love ended, not in shouting or violence, but in a single dish that told me everything I needed to know.